sound is okay. Do get audio, nice and clean audio from my piano. also vibe coding and playing piano while waiting. I'm not even waiting for anything, just waiting to get inspired a little bit, I guess. How's it going, everyone? Thank you for joining me. As you know, I'm broadcasting this on a couple of channels, so feel free to leave a comment. Yeah, let's see what are we going to do today. I might do some back and forth with the piano here. By the way, this is kind of cool. For those who have not been following my latest streams, let me put on my headphones just to be a little bit more professional. Let's put this on. Let's disconnect this, turn on this. Okay, this feels better. So one thing that's been happening in the last couple of streams that you may have seen is that I've been working on all these libraries that do cool things. One of them is actually this thing that I've been using now to play. It's open source. It's here on top. It's called MIDI Router. It's something I made so that, for example, I can use this new Nord piano sound, but use it through my my Hammer 88 M-Audio keyboard. Yeah, I'm usually just coding all kinds of like libraries and audio tools and things that could be used in audio, I guess. Yeah, so hopefully this was a little bit pleasant and we can get into the coding space just a little bit. So let's see what we're going to do today. All right. Okay. So one of the things that I've been working on is I've been working on this cross-platform library. And I guess the motivation for this library is that I'm trying to learn all kinds of different things about operating systems. I'm trying to read about networking, graphics. And I'm writing this library, which would eventually be released. It's going to be open source probably pretty soon. But I'm doing this so that I can think of all these patterns where these things could be nicely abstracted so that somebody making a C++ app could just draw things on screen, write some graphics, hopefully with no dependencies except for this one library. So hopefully it's something that is going to compile really fast, is not going to require a lot of like complicated setup like some other libraries. Yeah. So all right. So first of all, let's talk about the way this library is constructed. Maybe I'll increase the zoom a little bit. Hopefully 150% is going to be understandable enough. Okay, so I'm just changing my monitor mixer so that it makes sense for me to not overwhelm myself. Okay, so right now, this library can do a couple of things. One of them is that if you're just running a console app, this is, for example, the entire console app example, right? That is that you can just go on and say, hey, give me this EACP. EACP is my name, is Eyal Amir cross-platform, right? You can just include this and run a structure. It's going to load an app with the event loop, message thread, and all that stuff. I've so far tested it on macOS, iOS, and a little bit of Windows. The Windows implementation is kind of rough, so we need to probably go over that. But now I'm on my Mac computer, so I can do that. But then there's also a GUI version, which can do way more. Like, for example, the GUI version can load things and animate things, handle mouse events. And also there is a web view. So you can put a web view. In this case, this beautiful web view is loading my own website inside of the UI. So these all are like very simple things to just include and add. Web might be something we're gonna talk more about today. There's also a bit of networking, but I actually don't have a networking example here, so maybe that would be a good time to properly add. So let's start to gonna go through the structure and have a few iteration steps. So the console version right now, actually, let's maybe I'll also add let's add another example that does networking. That would be a good thing, because it's one of the things that I did first and actually haven't tested it in a little while. So what are we going to do is I am going to make another directory. Let's call it HTTP or something. And I'm just going to copy the details from the from this console app. But let's change the name. Let's call this HTTP. HTTP, I don't know, HTTP. Request app. So these are just some configuration stuff in CMake. Let's add the subdirectory, so it's included here. And the way this should work, I can just remove most of this timer, blah, 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 even though I might use the timer for something. Let's wait for the timer. So this is basically like the minimum boilerplate to run an app in this little framework. So I'm going to have I think it's called ACP HTTP request. So for a start, I can just do this. Like if I'm just making a request, I actually don't even need all this app stuff. I can literally just go and do it here. So I can just start with main and then do something like O2 request equals ACP HTTP request. The request URL would be something like HTTPS, Google or something, right? We could just do the default, and then the response would be CP HTTP request rec. And then let's do something like, I don't know, p log res dot content. That's a good start. Let's see what this does. So I'm gonna see this HTTP target. I'm gonna run it, and it crashed. Let's see why this crashed. So this crashed because something is wrong here with the request. I have a GET request. Should we ask body headers? Okay, GET. See what could be wrong here. I got this. Did I get a raw data back here? Could not evaluate print function. Blah, blah. Let's see what's wrong here. Did I need to link against something for this to work? I forget. Let's see what happens exactly. Mutable request, response. Oh, is it possible that I actually need the event loop to run, right? Maybe. Let's see. So this is an extract app. Run this in here. This is something that I probably need to handle. What we'll do is the ACP run app. Let's see what this is going to do. Still crashing. Let's see why. Let's see why. So no error. Data. Maybe an ownership problem here. Yeah. So I did get an HTTP response object. Let's see what's in there. Status load 200, and it should be okay. But there might be a problem here with the. So this is what's crashing. What's crashing is I have an ownership problem. Probably has to do with the way I'm wrapping this Objective-C pointer. So let's see exactly what's the problem. Which is possible because I kind of mess with those classes a little bit. So it's very possible that I broke the way they work. So I'm returning this thing called a raw response or something like that, or safe result. And that thing has this Objective-C pointer and its data. Oh, and this might be the problem. Because when I'm setting this, what I might need to do is I might need to reset it, right? Let's see if this is correct. If I reset it to the data. Because I need those to retain ownership as well. So I think this is what is missing. Let's see if this is going to work. Okay, perfect. So I just fixed. So this is a good fix. So now I probably don't even need my app stuff. I can probably just do the whole thing directly, right? I'm not sure I needed even an event loop. Yes, good. So this was a good thing. Let's commit this little HTTP thing first. Let's do fixed ownership. Retainment when dealing with an HTTP result, request result or something. Okay, so this is the idea. So the idea is that this should be something. Oh, I need to merge some new stuff from another commit probably. So here's the so this was the main design goal of this little thing. The idea is that you should be able to, let's say you have an app and you would want to just make HTTP requests. You should be able to do it like this. And I'm just going to maybe simplify this this interface a little bit, but this can handle post requests. We're going to try a few different types of requests in a second. And the idea is that you should be able to just do this from C++. You shouldn't be able to bring in OpenSSL to do an HTTP request, which many of these libraries require. So this was one of the main things I did as a design goal when I started this. And perhaps it would be a good thing. So maybe I can even ask. I'm going to improve the interface a little bit, and maybe I'll ask Claude Code to write like a proper example that does something cool with this in mind. Okay, so the one thing I want to do is HTTP requests. I don't love this name, HTTP request. First of all, I already have the request, so I can just probably do, first of all, let's make this request thing. Let's keep this default, but let's have something that takes the URL by default. So something like const string URL to use equals. Just so that, instead of doing this, I should be able in my interface to just say, hey, create the request with this URL, right? That's one less line. And in this case, we should, because we're constructing this object in place, we should even just do this, right? So for the one-liner, this would work just the same and call Google. So first of all, this is nice, right? The default request is just going to do a GET request. This is easy. But we also sometimes need other things, right? So we also sometimes may need a post request with the body or some other type of requests. So let's have a little helper for that. For example, let's do something like a let's do something like a post I guess we do a static method, something like a static request, post. And this would take the URL and also the constant string body to use. And what this would do is this would rec equals request URL to use, but then the rec.type would be post and rec.body equals body to use, and then return rec. So this should allow us to do something like this. Let's say that we wanted to. I need to Google, let's see if I can Google something. I think there's an Echo server somewhere, right? Like if I'm going to Google Echo server, Echo HTTP server. It's something that tells. Yeah, so there is one online. Yeah, so there's a server online. Looks like this. And what this should do is this should return to me whatever I'm sending. So this should be a way for me to just debug what I'm doing is correct. Start. So, okay, so you see this is the message I was sending, right? This is the host, this is this. And let's do the same thing with a post request. So I can just go to rec equals cp http request post. Let's do something like O2 URL equals this. So this would be the URL, and the body would be like, hey, I'm a body. Then I can just send this. Okay, good. So it sent me a post. So you can see that server returned a post request for me. And there's a bunch of header stuff. And then gave me the parse body. We can also enhance this by adding some headers. So let's add a header, secret, and this is going to be equals to my secret. Let's see if that is going to get back to me. Here it is, secret, my secret, right? So this is it's a good way to kind of to start creating more meaningful HTTP requests. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to commit this. Let's first of all, let's move a little bit. Let's move here some implementations to CPP files to improve compilation times. So let's just move to .mm, which I don't love. Probably does not need to be here. So we probably need this in a cross-platform CPP, because this part is going to be exactly the same on Windows. We don't need the Objective C++ implementation here. So let's go to core network. Let's add http.cpp. Yeah, all this stuff are Mac only, but this is not. So let's put this here, include HTTP/H. Send this little constructor. All this stuff should work really well on any platform. There's nothing here but cross-platform, beautiful C++. I'm calling this HTTP request. Just for fun, just for kind of use. I can also add a member version of this, so I can do something like response. Do like response requests, or yeah, so like request that let's call it perform. And all this would do is call HTTP requests. So this is just another convenience, so that eventually we can go to our example, the network example here, and instead of doing all this, we already have the request, so we can just do rec perform. Let's see if this works. Good. So these are just like little shortcuts so that we can very relatively quickly create a request and get the response from some server. Good. Let's commit this and said that added HTTP example and added helpers for post requests. Now it's gonna be fun. Let's go into vibe coding mode. So doing this thing that we just did. This was like a manual. Well, now let's see if I can have Claude, generate something more interesting here. Let's see if it can be useful. So let's start a Claude session. Let's go to code ECP. Beautiful Claude. And I've written an example in my library that uses HTTP requests in apps HTTP main.http. Can you create a more elaborate example using public servers and a mixture of get and post requests to demonstrate this API? Let's see what this is going to do. There's some JSON to be involved in, so we probably need to also talk about JSON. Perhaps add an adapter for this. But let's see what this did. There's a lot of code here. Let's see what this compiled and does something useful. Here it is. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Print response. Okay. First of all, God damn it. Using namespace ECP. Come on. Oop. Okay. Okay, fetch a single post from JSON placeholder. Okay, first of all, let's modernize this. O2 rec equals this. I like this because this is unified and kind of aligns all the different things. Kind of makes it looks like all other languages where you have like a var or a const or something. I think this is a bit more ergonomic. Okay, print response, then get request with query parameters, get request to HTTP bin. Right. So let's see if we can make this a little bit more. So rec res response. First of all, like we can just let's do something like the beginning would be just like get request, get and print const string URL. So let's start with that. Okay, function. That's much better. Also, now we actually don't even have to do a lot of these. We can just do to request the URL. We could just paste the URL here. Oops. So we can just do this. Okay, so this is good. Now get request with query parameters, blah, 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 blah. So this is going to be the same thing. So get and print, blah, 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 blah. Good. What else? So this is the same thing with the header, request to the header. So let's refactor this a little bit. So let's do something like void it's called perform and print const HTTP request rec. Oh, do I really need the label of this? Yeah, okay, let's do the label. So this should be something like const string label. I don't need the label. Let's just ignore this. The list label is boring. No label, much better. This should just print the response. And then this should just be rec. To res equals rec perform, print response res. So this would be like a better request, right? So auto request equals HTTP request. Headers, 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 and then basically just perform and print. Okay, post request. This is a body, blah, 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 blah. Kind of manual JSON here, okay. Get the post, JSON body, that's nice, headers, and then form and print. Next. This should be okay. Post to paste it. Okay, so this is the form data. Request, headers, and then perform and print rec. This should just be perform and print. Or get and print. It's a little better. Okay, let's see what this does. Blah, 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 blah. Sends and does this very fast. Status, and here's all the different details this does. Okay, let's call this edit more elaborate networking example. That's a little better. Now, there is something about JSON here that I've been thinking about. I can bring in a JSON library very, very quickly, but I was kind of wondering, can Claude write a good JSON library, or at least give me the framework of one? This is going to be an interesting experiment. Let's see what this is going to do. I'm actually interested. Let's do this kind of outside the scope of this thing, and let's see if I can instruct it to write like a greenfield. Oopsie, what just happened? No. So let's see if I can ask Claude to do something useful. Let's see. So for example, I want to, let's get out of here. Let's go to, let's call this simple JSON. Okay, let's see what this is going to do. I'm excited. Oops. Okay. I want to create a modern C++20 JSON library. It needs to use modern C++ practices and containers, and also contain a CMake list.txt with a single example showing uses of the library. Let's see what it's going to do. And I can just bring in something like Nochman JSON, and that library does amazing things. But I kind of want to see what it. Substantial test would benefit from planning. Let me enter plan mode. Header only or compile library? Probably compile library. Okay, let's do compile library. Standard JSON or extended JSON? Support comments, trailing commas, and relaxed parsing options. Let's start with the basic JSON. Should the library support pretty printing with indentation? Yes. I'm getting greedy here. Should library be header only, include or compiled? Did I do that? Oh, okay, secret answers. Let's see what Claude is going to do here. It's very likely that I'm not going to use whatever implementation is going to do, but I'm kind of interested. I'm interested to see how far can this take this this experiment. Let's see how bad this implementation is going to be. Probably should ask it to write unit tests and stuff like that. But before I do that, I want to see if it's going to make, use a inference structure to make any sort of sense. A lot of it has to do with the parsing, which I don't care so much about. I probably should have given it the data model and then told it to write the parser. I'm already feeling like I'm going to throw all this away and just start with a data model and then say, hey, write a parser for this. Eventually, what I'm hoping this is going to do is that it's going to use an object with a few options and a std variant. I haven't told it to do anything like that, so I'm not sure it would know what I want. But we're going to take a look. So go back to my CLAN here. Go to code, simple JSON. Let's see what it did here. Just while it's compiled. Let's see what this data structure is going to look like. JSON value, vector. What is JSON value? No. This is stupid. Well, this doesn't make, it makes some sense. Okay, JSON variant is a null, bool, double, string. Unique pointer of array? Why is this a unique pointer of array? This is pointless. Why should this be a pointer? Maybe they want this like simple to copy. I don't like this at all. No, this makes no sense. What was JSON? I'll just do monostate. Okay. Array is a vector of JSON valid. Object is a map. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. I don't understand why it needed to use a unique pointer here. There's no reason for get another heap allocation for this object. It should also be just plain value semantics. The parser, there's probably a lot of work on the I don't even want to review this parser because it's probably correct. I don't know. I don't want to even go in there. Serializer. So much code that is probably not needed. This number, string. I'm going to try this from scratch if I wanted this to be like a good, clean interface. All right. I think I'm going to end this this little stream right now. I might come back to another stream a bit later. So thank you all for watching and see you next time.